Everyone, and welcome back to the Matthew Schreiner podcast. I have considered redoing my video upload schedule, going into more like what Trent Horn does, where he uploads new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then also doing something very similar on Friday to his Free For All Friday. But since I also do the Atari Guide channel, and I had originally scheduled new videos on Mondays and Thursdays for the podcast, and Fridays, pardon me, for new Atari Guide videos, which I have undone that schedule because I haven't been uploading on Fridays, but I am considering doing it again, but we'll just have to see. I have not uploaded a video since the special one on the Atari Guide, so I do plan on getting back and uploading more videos on that channel. As another quick side note, I design thumbnails for every new podcast video, and they are a combination of photos. For this one, I decided to take a page out of Trent Horn's book and put a photo of me on the from one of the old videos thumbnails on this new thumbnail. Also, I found two photos of Pope Francis in a cafeteria, which had to do with which will have to do with the topic of the video. So I had to add those onto the thumbnail, just because I thought they were nice photos to add on there. But that's a quick tangent, because I was thinking of this video idea and writing the script for it this morning. And so I was thinking of the fact that this idea would be kind of like a more fit for Trent Horn's Free For All Friday. But then I realized my video topics are not really as much about apologetics as but I digress. I thought of this topic back on Tuesday. I think that was Monday, though. But I enjoy taking bike rides. And as I take bike rides, I listen to music on Spotify. And we as our family decided to get Spotify Premium. And the nice thing about this is that you can listen to music first without ads. And secondly, you can listen to anything. And you can listen to anything and make playlists and things like that without having it mix it in. So I remember a long time ago, not too long ago, but making CD mixes of different music. I remember making these CDs using Windows Media Player and downloading music off of YouTube. I probably still have some of these CDs. On a side note, I still believe in physical media. I believe that it is great over cloud storage and all that stuff. And here's why I said this belongs into sort of a free-for-all Friday category, because this will relate back to Catholicism, but we are taking a long, winding road to that. So I believe things like records, like the player you can kind of see in the background, you can't really, but you can probably see it more in other videos, like the one you see back there if you did decide this one really well. Or CDs are great. Even physical storage, more solid state forms of storage, those are non-mechanical, like old platter hard drives, and CDs are great over cloud computing and storage and stuff. But I do have a great appreciation for Spotify. But how does this all relate back to Catholicism, I hear you say? Actually, I hear you say stop talking about technology. Probably most of you out there have no idea what I'm talking about, at least with mechanical and storage and stuff like that. And if you do, then you're probably wondering the first thing, what does this have to do with Catholicism? Well, I'll tell you, back on Monday, I was taking my bike ride, and I wanted to listen to a mix of music, and I wanted a nice mix of multiple different artists and, music I was into. And I saw a nice mix they had, and they had one that was all of the music that you're listening to now, and so I put this mix on, and it was a really nice mix. Now, another nice thing about Spotify is that you can make playlists or take the mixes like the one I had that they make for you and make a playlist from them. And this is what I did. And I do like making my own mixes, like the CDs I used to make. To turn that into Catholicism, you might have heard about something called Cafeteria Catholicism. Cafeteria Catholicism is the idea of picking and choosing what you believe, picking and choosing what doctrines and stuff you personally believe. It kind of fits in with the spiritual but not religious idealism of choosing what you do and do not believe in, or mixing multiple different things. Spiritual but not religious differs from Cafeteria Catholicism in that spiritual but not religious combines different ideas from many religions or multiple religions, while usually claiming not to hold to just one religion. It involves sort of going more towards spiritualism, looking more at different aspects of different faiths. This would be an even bigger buffet look than Cafeteria Catholicism. And I relate this to music choice, because there are many different types of music I listen to. And as I was listening to it on Monday, I wanted a nice mix of everything. Cafeteria Catholicism, more like a buffet, is picking and choosing. making a plate what you believe. Now, I like this quote by the English author G.K. Chesterton. We do not really want a religion that is right when we are right. What we want is a religion that is right where we are wrong. We do not want, as the newspapers say, a church that will move with the world. There's a variation I have seen of this quote where he says, we do not want a church that says, I am wrong when I know I'm wrong, but tells me I am wrong when I think I'm right. G.K. Chesterton speaks of a church that changes us and does not change or conform to us. And to relate this more, the church we have is not a church that changes to us. And above all, it means changing our hearts, conforming to it, not merely picking and choosing what we believe. The church's teachings and rules are much more than guidelines or recommendations. They are not meant for the unguided. Rather, they are the way the church has interpreted the scriptures, as well as how, inspired by the Holy Spirit, the church, the popes and bishops, decide what is meet and right and just for Christian life. We cannot say, well, I like this church teaching about the environment, and this teaching about Christ, and this teaching of this, but then go and say, but I don't like this teaching on divorce, or this teaching on birth control, or whatever else. Catholicism is not a pick and choose. It's not a buffet. You could say it's a banquet. This is kind of what got me thinking into the idea of cafeteria Catholicism. As I was looking at music, seeing what it picked out for me, where my choices were. Yet, I would put on what I would put on a playlist. Or better yet, when I made CDs, there was a limit to how much you can have. Religion is not supposed to be a buffet. Rather, it is the search for what is true. That is, as Catholics, it is the understanding that God calls us to have a full and great communion with Him. And because of this, He left us a church. Not just for us to pick and choose what we believe, but rather to join ourselves in it to Him. We are not called to be cafeteria Catholics, to pick and choose. Rather, we are called to submit ourselves to God, finding true freedom to Him, to submit ourselves to Him in the church. Because if we want to live in God, in heaven, with God in heaven, we must be willing to live as He asks us, and we get to know Him by what the church gives us, not merely by what our understanding can get us to.